My memory is so bad, like I barely remember doing this last week, and I don't think I posted to YouTube, so my apologies. I will not make that mistake this time. Hi, Lulu. Okay. Coming off of a very intense Patreon live stream, so I'm trying to collect my energy a little bit here, ground a bit. All right, so we are going to get into this. This is going to be in order. Aries to Pisces. These are general readings. Hello, fellow patrons. How are you? Hello, hello. I was just talking about how I'm trying to ground from that Patreon live because I feel like I got like deep into some shit that I don't usually get into. So we're grounding, we're getting back into our body. Thanks for tapping the screen, you guys. Again, this is going to be in order from Aries to Pisces. You do not have to have a sun sign in any of these placements. It could be a rising sign, moon sign, Venus, or just any strong placement in your chart. And we're just doing the energy check-in for the week. What is there to look forward to? What is there to work with, etc., etc. I don't think I have any like real theme. Well, we'll see if any themes show up for this week. So starting with Aries, and if you have an Aries Venus, if you have a Gemini rising with any Aries placements, they are saying to listen up in particular. Let's see what we got for you. Feels like a big chapter is either about to complete for you or has completed, and there's a big like what's next energy. It almost feels like retirement energy for some of you guys, or like I don't have to do, maybe it's being done with school. Like we're done taking the tests, we're done with everything else. And how, okay, you know what? I'm reading this two different ways. For some of you guys, it's the end of a chapter. It's a personal thing. It's completing a circuit in school. It's maybe moving to a different place. Leaving. For some of you, this is a little bit more existential because I have the world. And I think the way I'm reading this is like the entire world. Like we're looking at the world right now. We're looking at the world through the lens of being very conscious and self-aware. And we are trying to figure out, Aries, how can I continue to move through this crazy world where everything is literally insane and everything is changing and very few things seem to feel secure anymore. And I am speaking from an American's perspective. So if there are people who are joining from other countries, I'd be curious to know your thoughts on this as well. But it's like, how do I continue to look for joy while keeping myself safe? Because there's a lot of places in the world that do not feel very safe at the moment. This country being one of them for a lot of different people, right? Because you're allowed to seek joy, like even in the depths of difficult situations, and especially, I think, in difficult times, it's really important to prioritize joy, recognize joy as an act of resistance, and yes, keeping you know your head on a swivel and making sure that you are staying safe in as many different ways as possible. What I've been telling my patrons is to just like listen to your body. If your intuition wants you to get the fuck out of Dodge, if your intuition is telling you that something needs to shift, it's not going to feel like anxiety. It's going to feel like you're being nudged. It's a knowing. That's what clairsentience is like a clear knowing, like I know I need to get from here to there, or I know I need to change, or I know something is coming. Every single time I've had an intuitive hint that something in my life is about to change for better or for worse, it's never been the anxiety that's gotten me to pay attention. It's been the nudge. So Aries, long story short, how do we continue to prioritize our joy in a world that feels so unsteady? Find joy in the unsteadiness. Okay. Thanks for tapping the screen. Okay, we're moving on to Taurus. Any particular Taurus Taurus and Cancer. So if you have a combination of Taurus placements and Cancer placements, listen up. Let's see what we got for you this week. I'm off to a good start with the sun. We love her. Literally one of the most optimistic cards I can pull out of the tarot deck for Taurus. Are we in a new relationship, Taurus? This is giving new NRE big time. How's above, so below. You're learning how to blur your boundaries, Taurus, without compromising your sense of safety, self-worth, and autonomy. And I kind of love this for you because it's like, how do I stay in my power while learning how to kind of merge consciousness with somebody else, merge heart with somebody else. I have as above, so below. There's this blurring of boundaries here for you. I have the high priestess. This is your intuition. This is the softening. This is the divine feminine. How can I soften my armor? How can I reduce the line in the sand energy that's so pervasive these days and sort of like lean in a little bit more to someone's energy, again, without it necessarily compromising my own integrity. So I'm just going to write lean in for Taurus. These might be like super quick today because I talked so much during the Patreon live. I'm feeling these are going to be shooting from the sharpshooting here. So Taurus, I love that because to me, it's a sign that you've done a lot of work around boundary setting and a lot of work around self-worth so that you're ready to kind of start to open up, especially if this is a new relationship. Gemini is next. Thanks for tapping the screen, you guys. Gemini. Gemini, with Uranus moving into Gemini tomorrow, I wonder how my gems are doing, especially if you have Gemini in the beginning degrees of the sign, because this is going to be a potentially big shift. Uranus aspects, I'm learning more and more, are disruptive, not always in bad ways. Like but it's a pivot. Like it's something in your life that's going to shift and change. And I love this card for Gemini, the Be a Curious Creature. I feel like that's Gemini energy to a T. What else is going on with Gem? This feels like encouragement to like go to like a fucking go to thrift books and get some new books, go to the library. It's giving go read, go learn, go study something new, specifically in the spiritual sphere. This is very, very specific for Gemini. So I have Be a Curious Creature showing up. I have Beauty, Belief, the Hierophant, and I usually read the Hierophant as your own inner personal authority versus the authority that you give somebody to tap into spirit. I have this holistic energy card and I have this guardian energy. It's giving, how do I protect my energy? How do I protect my nervous system? It feels like we're gearing up for this like paradigm shift that everybody's moving into that I kind of mentioned for Aries. And it's like, how can I use my consciousness and develop my spiritual gifts? But it's giving new student. It's giving like, I want to learn, I want to get from other people's perspectives and try stuff out. Maybe we want to learn a little bit about Western occultism. Maybe we want to learn a little bit about other open practices where there's deity worship. Maybe I want to learn more about meditation. Maybe I want to learn more about manifestation. But the only way to learn is to learn. And I don't just recommend going on to TikTok for like, 3-minute long, sound bites about stuff. Go get you something like this. Like this is definitely my own projection, but this book, this Cosmos and Psyche's book about astrological transits, this is like a wealth of information that I wouldn't learn on TikTok. So, as it falls on the floor, go be a student. Go to your nearest metaphysical store and go treat yourself to something that's calling to you. Yet let your intuition kind of guide you in the process. Okay, Cancer is next. Any particular Cancer placements? No. Although I don't know why. As soon as I said Cancer, I just saw raspberries. I don't know if raspberry is a synchronicity for you, if one of you is working with like red raspberry leaf, but that was just going to offer that in case that made sense to anybody. Cancer. The Chariot. I'm also smelling smoke. I'm wondering if somebody's loved one is coming through right now. Be neutral. Whoo, Cancer. You just got your interesting. Do raspberries mean anything to you? Kathleen? Because I did too. I started a day earlier. Cancer, this is intense. It's giving, not to get existential, and this might not necessarily raspberry tea. Okay, Kathleen. All right, I feel you. I got you. Are you a Cancer too? Chariot. The Chariot has been showing up, in not positive alignment for me in my collective readings recently. It's kind of like this momentum, this seemingly unstoppable force that's kind of careening through the collective right now, this very, very destructive energy that we're all experiencing here. I have disruption showing up. This is kind of like tower energy, and also Uranus. This is very Uranus moving into Gemini. So and everybody should go see where Gemini is in your chart. I'm having a Uranus 180 opposition in the next couple of years, which is like the midlife crisis point. That's why people say they have a midlife crisis. It's your Uranus opposition. Sometimes a Uranus return as well. I have the wounded human ego for Cancer. And then I have Be Neutral. Love this card. And then I have Guardian. Cancer, I've had this message on loudspeaker for you for like the past 2 months. There's some of you with Cancerian placements that are doing a lot of absorbing of what you're observing. So you're watching things fall apart, whether it's personal, this could be personal stuff too, and not just collective. You're watching it all fall apart. You're watching things get thrown into chaos. You're feeling a little bit powerless to stop it. But I think you're identifying with this process. You're identifying with a sense of loss in a way that isn't productive or helpful for you. So that Be Neutral card, it's a very like, how much can I just soften, go limp, and just watch without identifying, without attaching a story, without feeling squeezed in one way or the other, because I feel like we access our discernment a lot more effectively when we're not feeling overwhelmed, when we're not feeling like our prefrontal cortex is inaccessible because we have too much cortisol like coursing through our veins. So if you are somebody who's very on the phone, thank you for the follow, Heather. If you're on the phone all the time, if you're absorbing all of this stuff, because I'm hearing heavy heart, it means you're a compassionate person. It means that you are empathetic, and we certainly do need that, but that can be weaponized, and it has been weaponized to make us feel powerless when we're not. Try to be as objective as you can. Try not to hold extremes in any way, shape, or form, because those extremes are going to jar you out of a sense of self-empowerment. So observe, but don't absorb, okay, for Cancer. Easier said than done. I know you're a water sign, and that Guardian card with that protective energy, like there's definitely like your survival instincts are kicking in, but be mindful it's not the anxiety that's guiding you. Let it be the intuition, okay? Leo is next. Leo, if you have, it feels like if somebody is either near an Aries, like you have an Aries partner, or you have Aries in your chart, listen up in particular, okay? Thanks for tapping the screen, you guys. Leo. Feeling a lot of like stress in the heart space for Leo right now. There is a lot of like collective energy in the theme for this week for everybody. I think this is just everybody watching everything going crazy in the world right now, and just feeling some kind of way about it, which again suggests that you are an empathetic, compassionate person. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think some of us are getting a little too sucked into feeling helpless and despairing, which doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help the collective. It doesn't help the communities that are being put at risk right now. So Leo, what I see for you and what I'm feeling for you, I feel this heaviness. I feel this pinch in my heart space because something is affecting your heart. This could be personal, this could be collective, but it feels more collective to me. And what's happening for you is you're I don't know, I feel like every time I pull for Leo, there's one of you that's just like an expert at transmuting this energy into something actionable. So you see what's happening. It's affecting you. This is giving the flood in Texas. That's really coming through strongly for this, because I feel like one of you is a parent and you're thinking about those kids, and I don't want to get too into it because it's extremely upsetting. But I think your heart is just like really resonating with this. And I have transformation. This could be the event that pushes you into a timeline where you are showing up to be more of service. We have two mother figures showing up here. We have one here. So this is playing on your heartstrings, but in a good way. And Cancer, you would do well to kind of watch this process, or like if you have Leo in your chart, see where you can bring this energy up for yourself. So you're not just sitting there being like, what do we do? What do we do? This is, whereas Leo is like, this is awful. I'm gonna go cry about it, and now I'm gonna go volunteer here, or I'm going to start a nonprofit, or I'm going to fundraise for these families that don't know where their kids are. Like there is this strong sense of like, it's not moral ambiguity. Like I don't know why moral ambiguity just came through, but it just feels like I have to do something now, because I can't just sit in this energy of helplessness while the world is like fucking collapsing. So service energy in a really big way for Leo. That's awesome. I'm sorry that you have to feel that depth of whatever that is, because that feels, again, really like I feel like the pressure behind my eyes to want to start crying. Because that is a fucking fucked up story. Virgo is next. Virgo, Libra. If you have a Libra like if you're a cusper, especially, like if you're right on the cusp of Virgo and Libra. I did, Heather, but I will do a recap at the end. We'll do a recap at the end. And I'm going to post this to my YouTube channel when I'm done. So what's going on with Virgo here? Virgo, something is fucking up your intuition. Someone's talking over you. I feel like somebody's talking over Virgo right now. It's like you're trying, it feels like mansplaining energy. It doesn't have to be that kind of situation, but I feel like you're in your feelings, you're in your power. There's something going on. This could be a pregnancy. There's something with the womb space that's coming through really strongly, and I'm feeling a lot of uncertainty. Normally, I read this a King Bee card a lot more positively, but this feels like mansplaining energy. It feels like you're trying to get your feelings across to somebody, and they're like either completely ignoring you and talking about something else, or they're talking you out of your feelings. So I think, because I have water fairy, this is you and your feelings. I have the cow, abundance, and I don't know, these two together, it's giving some kind of fertility energy. And again, it doesn't have to be literal pregnancy, but something that you're carrying. Something that you're carrying that you weren't ready to carry, okay? It's not a bad thing that you're carrying. It's just like, whoa, this was given to me in a way that's making me feel a little bit uncomfortable and uncertain. I have the moon showing up, okay? I have cutting through as your advice. I feel like if somebody's talking over you, tell them to shut the fuck up. There, you have to be able to sometimes be louder. Sometimes you have to match the energy. I don't always tell people to do that, but I think in your case, Virgo, it's like if you're gonna be heard, you're gonna have to get louder than whoever's talking over you. And that's what I'm gonna write. Be louder than the other guy. This could be a job thing too, where you're like trying to share something, and it feels like an employee that's like under you thinks they're smarter than you. It's really, that sounds fun. That sounds fun to deal with. Libra is next. I think all Libra placements equally. Another world card for Libra. Let's see where this one's going. Thanks for tapping the screen, you guys. Respond with grace. This is also kind of existential. This is you looking at the world and feeling some kind of way about it. A lot of us are going to handle this awakening and this transition and this collapse very differently. Everybody has their own ways of mitigating grief, of mitigating uncertainty, specifically because there's going to be so much uncertainty. There is so much uncertainty right now. And much like Leo, Libra, I feel you being very present with everything. There's two cards with like stags in them, so I don't know if stag is a synchronicity for you. To me, this is just like a very strong earth component. It can show you're taking charge of something, and I do have Face the Music showing up for Libra. I have Purification, Puja, and I also have the world. So it's giving, I'm looking at the world, I'm accepting reality, I'm accepting my place in it, but in order for me to do that, there are certain things I need to purge and like get right about. This feels like quitting smoking for one of you. Like it feels like there's something you've been doing as a way to cope, and you're like, no, I actually can't do that anymore because it takes power away from me in some form, and I want all the power I can possibly have to move through this transition, to move through wherever the future is taking me. So I am just gonna write Puja for Libra. That's awesome. Like especially if you have like Leo and strong Libra placements, like you're probably feeling pretty empowered at the moment. We could all benefit from that. So that's Libra. How about Scorpio? Let's look at Scorpio's energy. Scorpio's got their head down. Let's see why they have their head down. Is it because you're focusing on something? I think so. Yeah, Scorpio feels like they're putting themselves to work with like a capital W at the moment. There's a couple of you guys that are really stepping up this week. I wonder if it's Uranus moving into Gemini and just shifting the energy. And right as I say that, I pull the Wind Fairy for Scorpio. I need to tell one of you with Scorpio placements to be really careful of conspiracy theories. I don't know who this is for. But there's this sense of like, I have to do something, like I have a role to play in this world on my own timeline. It's kind of like hero energy, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it's very like main character energy for Scorpio at the moment. And I have respond with grace. So it's giving, like, I'm going to be as fully present as I can. Respond with grace, I think there's a little bit of like self-grace, but there's also like forgiveness with the rest of the world so you can be present for the world. There's something about this Wind Fairy card and this threefold riddle, the keyword being riddle here. This is giving like new ideas and intellectual stimulation, but for one of you, you have to be really, really careful. There's a lot. I watch a lot of conspiracy theory TikTok because I'm fascinated by it. Like, I like to see how archetypes play out in a lot of different ways, conspiracy theories being one of them. Like, what leads people to believe X, Y, and Z, right? Because there's always a kernel, just a little nugget of truth in most conspiracy theories, and that's what hooks you and that's what gets you in. The thing with conspiracy theories and how you know if you're like really starting to buy into them is if you have this personal sense of like, well, I know the truth. It's a very, very egocentric way of looking at the world. And it can be very, very insidious. It can be very easy to get sucked into that like special club of the people who actually know what's going on, the people who actually see reality. It's a way to self-aggrandize, even if that's not your intention. So I want you, I'm just going to pull an advice card for Scorpio about this, because it's giving you heard a guy say something that hit every single, like, yes, that is exactly how I perceive reality, but I want you to be careful of like giving too much power to that. Like, I have eat your words. Like, there's something a little insidious about what you're regurgitating. And as a Scorpio, it's making me pause and think too, like, is there anything that snuck in there with me? Because I try to be pretty diligent about that stuff with the kind of work that I do. But it feels like it comes from social media. It could be the weather. We've got to be careful of the fucking weather stuff, you guys. The conspiracy shit about weather manipulation is starting to like actually make me insane, because it's a propaganda tool to take people's attention away from climate change, which has been a real thing for decades, scientifically proven to be a real thing for decades. And now they're trying to blame it on like a liberal weather machine manipulation, and people are falling for that shit like so fast. I love social media, but it has fucked up our critical thinking skills something fierce. So be careful of new information. I'm just going to write for Scorpio. That's not going to be true for every Scorpio in here, but it just felt very... I've seen a lot of that talk with these floods in Texas. It was a weather manipulation. No, it's certainly not the fossil fuel industries that are paying you to make people stupid through what you're saying, making people believe in. Anyway, Sagittarius is next. Sagittarius, if you also have a strong Virgo placement, listen up in particular. Thanks for tapping the screen, you guys. Sag. I love this for Sag. Sag is in really good energy this week. And again, you don't have to have a sun sign. This could be like if you have a Sag rising, if you have a Sag moon. Hot seat. Face the music. It's giving, if I want it, I have to go get it. It's giving, I'm not going to sit around and wait for it to come to me. I'm going to go do the thing. Thank you, Tisha. I have ambition. Page of Pentacles. New student energy showing up for Sag. Here and now, being present with what is. I think I've got like 3 of you guys so far that are really like doing the work of accepting reality, like whether it's your own personal situation or just the world at large. Be like, yep, this is what's happening. Face the music. Showing up for Sag. Also, hot seat. This is kind of like something's motivating you. Something's getting your butt to want to get up and move. And I have truth. This feels very Sag. Like, this feels very like I want to go into the deeper understanding of reality. I want to expand my consciousness. I want to learn. And it is giving travel. Like, I feel like there's a couple of you, especially if you are American and you've only ever lived here. You've only ever lived in America. It's giving, I want to see the world. This is like the gift of Sag, is like that expansive Jupiterian energy. So I'm just going to write lean into your optimism when it comes to wanting to expand your knowledge and understanding of the world. And there's not that warning that I had with Scorpio around like the conspiracy stuff. I don't know. That felt very specific. But it is like get up and go energy for Sag. Get up and get moving. So your daughter. Capricorn is next. All Capricorn placements. Okay, Cappy, what's going on here? Hi, Remy. Huh. lots of heart stuff. I feel like yeah, Samantha, I will do a recap at the end shortly because I'm going pretty quick today. Capricorn, it's giving, I see the matrix. I see it. This is big spiritual awakening energy. And I'm sure there are those of you that are already like awake, but this feels like the next stage. And there's grief attached to this. This could be one of those stages of the awakening where you're like, oh, the world is way less X, Y, and Z than I thought. My sense of who I am is now having to change. My sense of the entire world. It's giving Truman Show. It's giving fucking Truman Show. It's like where you realize everything has just been like a setup. It's been, not to make you paranoid, but it's that level of like revelation. You're seeing through the illusion. It says Maya, see how she spins. And your guides are telling you to the best of your ability to just tap into whatever tools for like emotional regulation that you have. I have be neutral. It's like the more you learn about the world, we tend to, as human beings, want to make everything black and white. It's like, well, we love the categories of good and evil. We love the categories of up and down, right and wrong. Right and wrong is really more so than good and evil coming through for you. And what happens, just as an intellectual experiment, when you sit with this energy rather than attach to a story or attach a story to it, you sit with it, you feel it, you let it move. Awakening plus be neutral. I'm just going to write for you, Cappy. I think lots of people this week, it feels like, are kind of getting hit in the face with like intense loads of reality, like just smacking them about a little bit. I went into this at length on my Patreon. I have a Patreon, guys. If you want to check, if you want more content that's more personalized, more one-on-one, if you want me to see me do more channeling events, I tend not to do a lot of channeling on TikTok, and energy updates that are more personalized, check out the Patreon. I'm going to be doing, I think at the end of this month, I don't want to say for sure, but I'm going to be doing chakra balancing classes at the end of, I think, July and August, and then we're going to get into some astrology stuff. Aquarius. Aquarius, and if you have Aquarius and strong Virgo placements, just perk up your ears. Yeah, lots of presents this week, which I think is good with Uranus moving into Gemini. I think being, standing in your body, staying in your body, standing on your own 2 feet is going to be really important. Aquarius, this is lovely. This is lovely energy. Aquarius is kind of off doing their own thing. Like everybody else has their like eyes focused on like, it feels like the horrors at the moment. And Aquarius is like, I'm gonna, you know what? They can have it. They can have it. I have a whole bunch of awesome shit I need to nourish on my timeline. Be careful though that it's not escapism. I'm going to tell you to make your timeline as beautiful as possible. I'm going to tell you to be present here and now. I'm going to tell you to be in your power through the mindfulness that this is suggesting. I'm going to tell you to nourish your relationships that, whether they're romantic, family, chosen family. This is giving road trip. It's giving, I want to go to the desert with my besties. It's giving, I've never taken my kids here. I'm going to go take them there. It's giving honeymoon. Wonderful. But I have this Am I Blue card. 2 things with this. One, just be wary of spiritual bypassing. Okay. Really what I'm feeling more with this though is like, should I be upset because everybody else is? No, you don't have to be upset just because everybody else is. That doesn't make you a shitty person. It doesn't. It doesn't. I know not a lot of people want to accept that. It's okay to feel however you want to feel, especially because I think right now it's very important that we bring as much joy into the world as possible to offset the horrors. Okay. So, don't worry, be happy for Aquarius. Like you're allowed to live your life. I keep thinking about a TikTok I saw where somebody was like, even during like the peak of WW2, people were still getting married and people were still going and watching movies and people were going and making themselves like life was still happening. And it's so important that life continues to happen and that we don't all become so psyoped by the negativity that we cease to function as like light beings. You know what I'm saying? Pisces, last but not least. Dancing. Yep. Speaking of, this person's dancing here. The Fool for Pisces. Illusory obstacles. So you guys are going to have to like report back to me. Maybe leave a comment once this is up on my YouTube channel later today, because it takes a little while for these to upload. Let me know if you have any like, holy shit, I'm seeing through the matrix moments, because so many of you guys are getting this vibe. Like the illusory obstacle. There's a lot of just like seeing through illusion. This it must be Neptune retrograde. Because I think that starts today. I'm so bad. My memory is so bad. That might be what it is. It's Uranus moving into Gemini with Neptune retrograde. That's why so many of you guys are tapped into this, like, I can see through the fucking code. Now what? You know? Some of you are feeling really empowered by that. Some of you are feeling really disempowered by that. It's very, very different person to person. Pisces. Interesting. You and Cancer both are having a little bit of difficulty with emotional regulation regarding that whole aha moment of seeing through the matrix, which is valid. I'm a water sign too. Like, I get it. Like, I've been feeling a lot, as it turns out, over the past couple of weeks, months, years, if I'm being honest. I have the Fool. This is baseline. You know to trust the universe. Baseline. You know to trust spirit. You can come up with a number of different occasions where things shouldn't have been okay, and then they were, because spirit had your back. Your guides had your back. Your loved ones in spirit had your back. Or people here, actually, had your back, because I have partnerships showing up for you. Going Places, Amy, thank you for the follow. You're seeing through the bullshit, and I feel like you're also trying to get others, like your friends, your family, to see through the bullshit. Please don't proselytize to them. It's not gonna go well for you. You're gonna get accused of being crazy, and that's gonna make you fucking pissed. Okay? I have hothead showing up for Pisces. This is also the anger of seeing through the veil, because I think that's part of the awakening, is the rage that sometimes comes in surrounding all the things you've been lied to about. That was a very weirdly constructed sentence, Nimue. You're seeing through the lies. You're seeing through the propaganda. You're seeing how we live in the upside down. Okay, like, you're getting it. And it's pissing you off. So there's this encouragement, I think, for Pisces to just regulate. Like, get the anger out. Let it move, but also, like, detach, okay? Piercing the veil for Pisces. Okay, before I do a recap, I'm going to open this up to patrons and subscribers. So if you have the word Faye after your name, you're subscribed here on TikTok, or you are one of my patrons, I am happy to pull a card for you. And then we'll do a recap at the end. Hey, Jimmy. May I just ask if my cat will finally heal from her infection with this round of meds? Let's see what comes up for you. Poor kitty. Poor baby. Oh. Okay, a whole bunch of cards just fell out, and it looks pretty good. I mean, success came out here. I have new beginnings, fortitude. I think so. I think this looks that the whole bunch of shit. Your cat must be powerful. So, she just made like 5 cards shoot out of my deck. May. Samantha, absolutely. Do you have anything specific you want to ask? She's a big girl. So's mine. She's a tank. She's a tank, but I've had her on a diet. She's lost about 3 pounds. She needed to lose. I'm about to do the recap, but I'm going to pull cards for, at the moment, for subscribers and patrons real quick, and then we'll do the recap. Spoiler alert, everybody is fucking, I can't tell you, Samantha. I'm not, one of my only boundaries when it comes to reading is pushing into people's private lives without their consent. So I'm not going to tell you that. But if there's something else I can answer for you, I'm happy to do that. Lilu. It's Lilu, like Lilu Dallas Multipass, except she's Lilu Dallas Multi-Spots. She's a redhead. She's got the white. She's my baby girl. Getting in a fight with the garden lizards. Okay, so if you want me to, yeah, let's look at general and see if there's anything coming up generally around that. Yeah, I usually with what other people are doing, I try, unless it's unsafe to do it, I usually just try to encourage, like, communicate with that person, ask somebody that knows them. I just, it's an ethical thing for me to, like, poke into someone's energy without them knowing. Thanks for the follow, Emily. Okay, so for you, Samantha, and then Jimmy. So Samantha, general energy. I pulled this during the Patreon live too. Do you have any working relationship with Hecate? I never pronounced her name correctly. If not, I'm gonna look at this a little differently. It says the way through, the key. What's the key for Samantha? The sun. I mean, these two cards together, Samantha, are like, you hold all the answers. So I'm wondering if that question about what this guy is doing, right? If he's posting weird stuff, I wonder if this isn't a sign. It's like, hey, maybe if you go into your inner knowing, sometimes the sun shows up as like a higher self or higher mind energy. If I tap into that and I listen and I don't try to project a story or have my mind try to head itself off of the past, like what's coming up for me, just as an exercise, right? Especially if it's affecting you, like if it's directed towards you in any way. Is it something that's directed towards you? Like, and general card for Jimmy. Jimmy, they want me to pull from this deck for you. Jimmy. It is, okay. Listen to, I would like, Samantha, I would do like an imagination exercise. Like pretend that you're talking to your higher self about what's going on. Again, just be curious about it and see what comes up. Jimmy, respond with grace. This showed up a number of times during the reading today. Or what are we, who or what are we being asked to respond with grace? Okay, so I have the devil. I guess the question is, how do you respond with grace with this shit, right? I think it's being present with yourself. Grief just came up for me pretty strongly here. If you're going through it right now, I think this is literally like, hey, hold space for yourself. Maybe respond with grace for yourself. Show yourself grace. All of us could stand to show ourselves a little grace. Any of us that are paying a modicum of attention of what's going on historically right now need to show ourselves some fucking grace. We've been and like then there's like our own personal stuff, right? Like we've all been going through trauma. This is why I think trauma-informed counseling has become as big as it has, because I think subconsciously our collective sense knew this was all coming, so we were like training ourselves to learn how to regulate. Any other patrons or subscribers before the recap? And YouTube watchers, this is where I'm going to sign off for today. So I'm just be repeating myself.